Hey there, Aries. How are we today? Just doing our weekly readings today. I am firstly going to be looking at sort of any new incoming energy, just a bit of a general pull there. But we also will be doing a career spread today as well. Okay. So I firstly want to just ask everybody there that if you could leave a comment, not only will you go in the draw for a free personal reading, but it really does help grow the channel. We are only a really super small community here at the moment, so every sort of like and comment really does really help the channel out. So thank you all in advance. Obviously, make sure you subscribe as well so you can keep updated when that does come around being drawn. Now, with that general portion, we will be using the Slavic Folklore Lenormand deck today. And then when we move over into the career portion, I do have the Reflect de Lune Lenormand deck as well as the Moon Magic Oracle deck here as well. All right, but we'll head straight on into it for you today, Aries. So Aries, and incoming energy, new energy for Aries, please. New energy for Aries this week, please. Okay, and what area of life is that in regard to, please? I just wanted to get a bit of a better idea of, what we're actually looking at here. What area of Aries life are we looking at? Okay, so firstly, I'll show you, when I did ask just then what area of life we are looking at for you today, Aries. We do have the tree energy followed by the woman energy there. Okay, so we're looking at your emotional growth. Okay, that's sort of what's going on with newness this week for you, Aries. Some sort of emotional growth. Okay, that's pretty self-explanatory with those two cards. To clarify that, the female energy there, like obviously not to genderize, but it does sort of talk about somebody much more nurturing and giving to that emotional side of themselves. So I feel as though that's what's going on for you at the moment. We are sort of branching out, really sort of studying our emotions and using those to grow ourselves better and stronger. Okay, Aries. So using the and nurturing yourself as well. This tree does talk quite a lot about self-care as well. So really sort of nurturing that inner self and growing in a much more mature emotional kind of a manner as well. This woman energy, even though it is all about emotion, I feel with that tree we're sort of growing into our emotions a little bit there and able to deal with them on a much more mature space to what we may have been able to in the past. All right. So we do, for the main spread here, we do have the crossroad card, the road card that's first and foremost. So it does sort of show us that we are coming up to kind of like a fork in the path when it does come to how we are dealing within ourselves and our own sort of growth and choosing to continue down that path of growing as a person and growing into a more emotionally mature type person there. The path really does talk about choices and decisions as well. So sort of choosing to whether we are staying on the same path that we are already on. Is that working for you, or do we need to sort of readdress where we're at, and take a new path, try things in a new way, taking side detour path, to get the outcomes that we do want within our life there. So that was actually followed up by the letter card there. Okay, so the letter card really is a communication card as well. So I feel quite strongly that a lot of this is to do with, sitting down and having that serious sort of chat with yourself first and foremost, really communicating with yourself, really communicating with your emotional self, and what it is that you do truly want to come next on this path of life. So really sort of looking at what it is we want and the best way to get there, and what growth we may need to do within ourselves in order to stay true to our path, or choose a better path, that's going to give us better outcomes for where we want to be. But there is also that element too, that a lot of the time this is physical communication as well. So you may be sort of wanting to choose, like, it does feel that it is quite linked with that road as well. So it does feel as though you may be choosing to communicate something or with someone. So there may be something in particular that you feel that you do need to communicate. I do feel, once again, on that emotional level as well. But it's really all about starting new journeys for yourself. Not only do we have that road card coming out there that, that does talk about, walking the path of life that is right for you. We then have the ship card, which is all about starting new adventures, starting new journeys. And then that was actually followed up by the book energy as well, which is starting new chapters in your life. So we're really looking at some fresh new energy, and it does feel as though this is you, Aries, sort of wanting to embark on this new adventure, wanting to try to do things in a brand new way to how you've done them in the past, in order to, you know, set sail into the sunset kind of a vibe, taking on, you may be physically traveling. There may be some sort of communication about a physical traveling kind of thing, an actual trip or holiday, or some sort of distance that you do need to close with those two cards together. Then you may be sort of communicating that, look, I want to travel here or there, or I want to travel towards this person, okay? Because it definitely, it's not giving me a clear it's not clearly showing whether we're talking about an actual person involved in your life, or like, it just really does lend itself to these new beginnings in I feel as though it may actually affect multiple areas of your life as well, Aries. Because when it's based in your self growth, and that knowledge within yourself, and that emotional factor, it really does affect multiple areas of your life. It's sort of not limited to just one thing. All right, and like I said, with that ship, I really feel that we are getting wanting to communicate where we want to take our next adventure, where we want to set sail to, what do we want to be part of our ship in the future, part of our path in the future. Really communicating that clearly. If there's certain people involved in your life that you're communicating with them that, look, I want to move here with you, and I want to get to this point with you and our connection, or whatnot. But also being able to communicate that clearly within yourself, and starting to take those steps with that ship there, sort of setting sail, and all the cargo loaded on your ship, and getting ready to launch the boat there, especially with that book backing that up. Once again, like I said, new chapters in your life. Your story has not yet been written, and with that road there, it's really up to you how you want to write that story. So taking those first steps to sort of work it out, and actually head towards those things that you do truly want to be around in your life, for the long term. If there is some things you need to change about the way you're doing things at the moment, taking those first steps to change those things, and rewrite your book, rewrite how you're going to play all this out. Okay. Now, with the book, there is also that element of, educating yourself, self truth, knowledge, doing a little bit of research if necessary for certain things. So if there's things in particular, you may be needing to research certain things here and there this week, just to make sure that, yes, that's the path I want to go, and, thinking it through there. But really sort of sitting with your emotions this week, Aries, and using those to help you gain that inner wisdom, that inner knowledge. With the book and the tree there, it really does talk about that inner wisdom that you do already have. I feel as though, Aries, you probably already know exactly where you want to go, or even if you don't know exactly where you want to go, you kind of have those end goals in mind, and it's just a matter of working out, how do we get to those places? How do we choose the right path that's going to lead us to those things? All right. So that's looking super fresh and brand new energy for you guys there, Aries. So super positive for you there. But we'll move over into your career portion. So Aries and their career and finances, please. Career and finances for Aries. Okay, so we do have the new moon there, so this is actually confirming what we've just seen in that general portion. So it does look as though this is going to have that rollover effect into your career and finances as well. It's all sort of linked, like I said, in that general portion. Once you are sort of set where you are emotionally and growing emotionally, it does affect multiple areas of your life here. And that new moon card, that does say the time is ripe for seeking new opportunities. Okay, so if you are looking for new opportunities within your career and finance, time is now. Okay, I feel like I've said that a few times for you guys lately, Aries, that the time to act is now. So we really are in this phase at the moment, Aries, of starting to put things into action within your life, and in multiple areas too, because we're seeing that crossing over readings now. So definitely some great energy for you guys there. Aries and their career and finances, please. Career and finances for Aries. Okay, so interesting energy here, Aries. I'm not actually seeing a huge amount of finance or career stuff coming on through. It's like I said, in that general, it does feel as though it's all kind of linked though. So we're going to have that flow on effect, I think, happening for you this week, and it's sort of really all about focusing on that emotional side of yourself and growing into some emotional maturity there, and it's really going to have a roll on effect to other aspects of your life as well. I'll just show you here at the bottom of the deck. I do have the cross card as well. Okay, so that's like a super spiritual, religious type energy there. But a lot of the time, especially when I'm seeing this reading as a whole, it really does talk about trusting in the universe, in God, whatever it is that you believe in, and that sort of everything is happening the way that it is supposed to happen. And oh, look at that! It's right underneath that there. We do have the fish card as well, so that's abundance as well. So even though I said I can't really see any clear finances, trust in the fact that you are heading into an abundant sort of period in your life. Okay, so like I said, all these new changes that you're making are definitely setting you down the right path, Aries. Okay, now with this here, we do have the first and foremost card is the key. Okay, so that's once again sort of a new energy coming on through. That one does open up brand new doors for you, new opportunities coming your way, and it is a very success based card. It does talk so much about success. So when we are talking about career and finances, it really does talk about successful opportunities headed your way, new doors opening to you when it comes to your career or success in general. All right, and possible new avenues of making money, that kind of a thing as well. Now, that's actually followed up by the birds card and the tower card. Okay, so the bird and the tower card, that's actually in this sort of state. It is talking about something from the past, still affecting you at the moment, Aries. Um, you know, I do feel as though there is a sense of like you've lost something in the past. You've lost something that was potentially successful in the past, and you're really actually wanting to sort of rebuild that tower. And I am seeing that we may actually be having, whatever this thing is for you, Aries, it may actually be coming back around, kind of energy coming up for you in the near future. But when it comes to sort of that career kind of financial aspect, it does look as though, even though with the birds and the tower, we may have sort of a little bit of sense of, mourning something that we have lost in the past there. We are also seeing some huge sort of excitement to rebuild, and, possible communication as well, especially when the card after that is the letter once again. All right, so that other communication card coming on through. But sometimes the birds does talk about, that chatter, that a little bit of gossip. Sometimes, you may hear something about something that's happened in the past, and it's going to help you rethink things, or something like that. Okay, but it is feeling quite exciting and chitter chattery, birds fluttering around kind of energy. But it can also sometimes talk about phone calls. All right, so I think that's important to mention when we do have the letter sitting right there as well. But I really feel that this is sort of talking about rebuilding your tower but stronger. Okay, so it does sort of talk about sometimes taking a bit of time to yourself to make sure, like we saw in that general portion, taking a bit of time to yourself to make sure that we are growing that emotional side of ourselves, that we are nurturing ourselves and looking after ourselves first and foremost. But it's kind of stirring up a bit of an energy here, where we really are looking at wanting to sort of build stronger foundations within career and finances in the future. So really sort of focusing on, how can we build more of that nest egg kind of energy, with the nest imagery with the birds as well. But, really talking about the foundations of this tower. Okay, so this tower, they can be super tall and strong. It feels like I keep seeing this image of like Jenga made out of like gold bricks. Okay, so maybe you're like trying to build your, you know, save up some money or something like that. All right, and there is some sort of communication coming through that is going to really help you with that as well. It does feel, but making sure we are taking a bit of time to ourselves to make sure we stopping and thinking through, rather than spending from our emotions. What can we use that emotional maturity? How can we be more emotionally mature about our money and our career as well, so that we can build this tower strong so it doesn't topple over on us? All right, so bit of an interesting mixed bag kind of message for you today, Aries. But once again, we do have that letter card. So we did see that coming out in that general portion as well. So we are finding that communication is heavily important for you this week. Communicating yourself clearly, whether it be, online, text messages, in person, all those sorts of things, possible phone calls that are important with that bird card as well. But really, really focusing on communicating to the best of our ability this week. And you know especially when it comes to, I feel for a lot of you, when it comes to your career, it's talking about, you know making sure we're proofreading any documents we're sending out, any paperwork kind of stuff, making sure we're checking all the fine print as well, building that tower as strong as possible. Okay, so that also involves your communication skills. All right, so we did see that tree in the general, so it does sometimes talk about further educating ourselves on how we can build stronger communication skills as well. All right. So for some of you, I feel that that may be relevant. But what it's all sort of coming down to for you, Aries, we do have that finished off with the house energy. Okay. So the house energy is all about stability and security. All right. So, if we focus on these things, we're going to get some sort of communication. I feel coming back to us as well, that our financial position is a lot more secure, that our career is quite stable and secure. We're seeing it the sort of, it's the time for new opportunities, but these new opportunities are actually going to be quite stable and secure for you for the longer term. All right, so you may be moving into new areas at the moment, but these new areas are actually going to be focusing on building. When you sort of look at that tower, you want these bottom blocks to be the strongest. So if we're in that period at the moment where if things are new and we're just getting started, we want to build these bottom bricks as strong as we possibly can. All right. And so we're really in that phase at the moment. And then in the future, we are seeing with that house energy that, once you have finished building your tower, it's going to be super strong and stable, and it's not going to sort of flow away anyway, like not going to fall over out of nowhere. It's going to stand the test of time, I want to say for you there, Aries. So really focusing on building those brand new things into your life in a very secure and stable manner, so that they are going to stand that test of time there. But like I said, I do feel as though that communication is quite important for you this week as well, Aries. So really assessing our emotions, and working on making sure that we are expressing ourselves, and communicating clearly with the people around us this week, and it will really help you lead to long-term stability and security with your career and finances. So super positive message for you today, Aries. But like I said at the beginning, please leave a comment so you can go in the draw for that free personal reading. But if this is where we leave each other, thank you so much for your time today.